So when life starts coming in all different directions, it's easy to drift. It's easy to focus more on something else. So I actually put it all down in writing. I put the financial plan down in writing of what we're doing. I put the business plan down in writing. I put the personal goals down in writing.
Welcome to the Good Life.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Good Life Visual Audio Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, C. Muzan. I got Coach Kobi in the building. Say what up, Coach.
What up, dog? Oh, Detroit, stand up.
Here we go.
Oh, man.
Guys, we're back to talk all things health and wealth, and it's episode 148. We got a real special guest that's about to become a staple here on the Good Life. You're going to see this man's face popping up every month. You're going to see him coming in, giving his 2 cents. We needed another voice here on the Good Life for 2024 because we're always giving you more of what the corporate athlete needs. So let's welcome young Doogle, Mr. Douglas Allen, into the building on the Good Life. What's up, Doogle?
What's up, everybody? Always a pleasure to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, listen, like I said, you're a friend to the show, and now you're about to become a staple on the show. We're having you come in every single month, probably maybe once or twice a month, where you're going to get a chance to speak from the corporate athlete side of things, man. I was tired of looking at Coach's face every week here for the past couple years, man. So
it's a hard face to look at for a long time.
It is. It's rough, man. I'm glad.
Oh, man. You see what they do? They trying to bring your boy down, but we always stand up. See, what we do is we stand in the face of adversity. You know what we do? We stand strong. We stand strong.
Is that what you do?
That's what we do.
That's what we do. Well,
That's
listen,
what we do.
We're excited to be back again. Brand new year. How's everybody's 2024 starting off? Doogle, how's your 2024 starting off for you, man?
Man, so far so good, man. I cannot complain at all. I'm taking some time off work right now to spend some time with the family. As you know, I welcomed my second child to the world back in November last year. So taking some time off to spend some time with the wife and my son and kind of assist with that transition of becoming, one child parent to now, two. So it's been real fun. Starting off strong and been actually really productive since I've been off work. So having a good time so far.
I love it, man. Kudos to you and the family. Kudos to your wife, right? Again, family units. It's important. These family units, right? Like what we do to continue to hold up our family, continue to move forward in our career, move forward in our health, move forward in our finances, man. It's a lot on us, man. It's a lot on people in general, but especially on us, men, that make it happen. So glad to have you here on the show, man. Coach, what's been up with you, man? Happy, I've seen you since the new year, but what's been going on the past week or so? 2 weeks.
Man, listen, the people know what's going on with me. If you don't know, go ahead and follow me. Let's move on with the show. Let's get to the meat. Well, let's get to the meat and potatoes.
Listen, the meat, I guess we got to start off talking about your Detroit Lions. That's all he wanted to get to was.
Man. Listen, you talked enough, sir. Let me take this. All right,
go for it. It's all you.
Detroit, stand up. 32 years. Okay, this is how you do it. You keep chipping away at it. All right, guys, listen, you might have a goal that you want to pursue in your life. You might have something that you're working towards in 2024. I want you to look at the Detroit Lions for inspiration because what they are is an example of what we should all be. You might face adversity for 32 years, but you know what you keep doing? You keep chipping away, baby. You keep chipping away. And one day, it will come to pass. You will win a playoff game and start moving on, just like Coach said, baby. Oh, man.
Okay.
We're in a great spot, guys. I'm real excited, man. Detroit Lions for the win, baby. Let's go, man. Move on with the show, man. The people know what it is.
32 years.
32 years. That's all we got to say. Listen, kudos to the Detroit Lions. Some organizations just aren't good at all, and then they become a little bit better, right? And they get some wins, and that's just like life. I'm glad you
You
made
must
that
be
metaphor.
talking about the Eagles, man. Let's move
Stop
on.
it. Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah,
Let's move
yeah,
on.
yeah. You were right for once, coach.
Let's move on. Let's move. Man, pull the tape. Pull the tape, Hembo. Pull the tape.
You were
Go
right
ahead
for
and pull
once.
the tape, man.
You
I
were right
said
for
it.
once.
I came through the door and I said it before, guys. Pull the tape, man. Listen, man. Golly. Shout out, man. Michigan winning, man. Jim Harbaugh out here, Michigan.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? The Fab Five is back together, man. We're doing good.
Who the
man.
Lions play next?
You know what
I'm rooting for them.
That's who we're rooting for, right? That's who we're rooting for, Dougal.
Listen, baby.
Goes
Oh,
against the
man.
Lions, so we don't got to hear Coach's mouth.
See,
for
you
the
guys
next
got to
couple
prep
weeks.
yourself. You got to prep yourself. Instagram, prep yourself. TikTok, prep yourself. People, go prep yourself, my God. Because listen, when you start to win, see, when you're down, oh, they're fine with that. Oh, poor, blah, blah. They're fine with that. But watch you try to improve your health. Watch you try to make a little bit more money. Watch you dress a little bit better. Watch you get you a better hat. Watch you get you a better partner, right? And they start nipping at your feet, right? They say, "Oh, look at him. He think he better than us. He think he better than us." Hey, listen, like I said, we're getting ready. We're prepping, okay? Because you guys, I know you tune into the show because you have goals and aspirations, and you have to understand when you start hitting those different levels, they're going to be people coming out the woodworks. And you know what I say? They start, hey. They just be hating. Look at their faces right here. They don't know what to say. They just hating. But me, I stay strong in the face of adversity, man. That's what we do.
We're just giving you your time to talk, man.
That's what we do.
Because next week might be a completely different story.
Hey, man, life is week by week, man. In fact, it's day by day.
I hear you.
We don't know what tomorrow holds. What we do is we celebrate the victories of today, and we stand strong when we take L's, right? I don't know about the Eagles. Those L's are a little big, but
listen.
Heads is gonna roll, jobs will be lost.
Hey, it's not as big of an L like Dallas took.
Exactly.
We ain't not talking. We don't talk about Dallas on the show, man. We don't do that. We don't do
too much. Anyways, y'all, glad you're all checking in with us here. Thank you all for tuning in on another episode of the Good Life Visual Audio Podcast. If you want more, you can catch us over on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and all your favorite streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you join our Facebook group, by the way, Health and Wealth for Busy Professionals, we go live there every week during these episodes, and you can chat with us. We also host cool workshops and give insider tips. Remember that group over there, it's not just a group, it's a community for self-improvement. So go over there, join in, and let's all live the good life here in 2024. Quick word from our sponsor.
That's right. And guys, before we get our words, it be your own people, man. It be your own family. I'm looking here on Instagram and I see my own sister.
Let's go, Bird.
I see my own sister coming in with the go Eagles.
Let's go.
Oh, man, it be your own people, man. But that's all right. You ready to master the art? Hey, quiet down. You ready to master the art of cash flow and boost your finances to the next level? Our friends at United Agency are giving away a free Cash Flow 101 ebook. Ooh, and it's all about increasing your financial gains so you can bring more money into your life. If you're tuning in via audio or YouTube, check the link in the description and grab your free copy. And if you're with us live, drop the word cash flow, all one word, in the chat, and we'll make sure to hook you up. Don't miss out on this golden opportunity to level up and stack your bread.
That's right. Emily, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. You're on the right team.
Man, it be your own blood, man. It be your own people.
You are on the right team. It's okay. I support you. Man. You have a new brother in me. That's right.
The heart, man. Get out of here, man. You look at this. Look at this. The level of sham. Oh man. Listen, it'd be like that, man. It'd be your like own people, man.
It'd be like that. Hey, let's dive into the segment of the show we like to call Shop Talk.
Shop Talk. Dun-dun-dun-dun. We're still working on it, guys. Still working on it.
Dude,
I like it.
Yeah, you got to bring some flair to the Shop Talk side too. We got to figure that out. But we're talking NFL playoffs week 2, right?
Let's talk.
Again, we just talked a little bit about those Detroit Lions. Those of you that checked in with us last week, Coach and I had made some predictions.
Mm-hmm.
Looked like Coach might
Go
have
ahead.
been might have been
Let
the
the people
winner
know.
there. I think he was 4-2. I was 2-4
I
on the
think he was
picks.
4-2, my
I
brother.
think
We
it
got it
was.
right in front of us now.
I believe that's what it says.
My
Not sure
man
if there's
said,
some.
"Say it right. Say it
Say it
right."
right. Yeah, loud
Not
up for the
sure.
people in the back.
Not sure if there are some typos there.
Oh, come
But
on.
he did pick the Detroit Lions over the Rams. He picked the Chiefs over the Dolphins. Coach also picked Buffalo over Pittsburgh, and yes, the Bucks over the Eagles. And but he missed out on that Houston game, which I picked the Houston game, and I also got that Green Bay game because the Cowboys suck, and we knew that anyway.
Hey, you watch your mouth now. We want to say that word on the show. There's kids
Wow.
watching. You know what I'm saying? Listen, the Dallas Cowboys do. I don't know how you feel about this, man, but we know that they tend to choke at the worst possible time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so am I
Almost the same time
surprised by
every
that?
year.
Yeah, almost the same time every year, January, right in time for my birthday. Right? I don't know if that's that much of a surprise, but I just want to get on the show here and give some kudos, credit to that young bull down in Houston.
That's right.
CJ Stroud. Listen, to come into the league, think about your first job out of college and to be excelling at the level that he's excelling. First job out of college. He ain't even finished. Kudos to him, man. I'm real excited. I was very happy to be wrong about that because it actually sets up for a great story moving forward at the progression of the black quarterback in the NBA and the NFL.
Very true. Very true. Let's talk about week 2 in the NFL, though. What's going to happen for this week 2 playoff schedule? Doogle, let's get your picks. First, we got Green Bay versus the 49ers. Where are you sitting? Where are you sitting on
Round
that
table,
one?
round table, real
Round
quick.
table, we'll go around.
Let's run it. Yeah,
I'm
Dougal, you
gonna
first.
say Green Bay, man. Upset.
Coach?
All right. 49ers. Dougal's crazy.
All right.
I like Dougle's pick. I'm going with the Packers. Shout out Wheezy F baby. I knew they were going to do it against Dallas. So I know they're going to do it against the 49ers too. We got to shut them up also. I think Wheezy is their good luck charm. Second game, Detroit Lions versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Dougal, who you got?
I'm going with the Bucks just because I don't want Coach to win.
Hey. Y'all already know who I'm going with. Roar, baby. All day.
Yeah, I got to go with the Lions on this one. Not just because of Coach, but because I can't root for the people that beat the Eagles. Like that's
I'm
just
petty like that.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. We got it.
I'm sorry. You meant stomp the Eagles, right?
Relax.
Okay.
It wasn't even that bad.
Go ahead.
Anyway.
All right, move on. Move on. We're gonna let you have this one.
Third game of the week. Third game. Baltimore Ravens versus those old Houston Texans. Dougal, who you got?
I'm going with the Ravens here.
Coach?
Gotta go with my main man here. Again, the progression of the black quarterback in the NFL. I love to see it. Shout out Lamar.
I'm actually going Houston. I'm gonna stick with the Houston pick. I think there's some real upsets that can be made with CJ at the helm there. So last game, Chiefs versus the Bills. Dougal, who you got?
I would love to root for my cousin Josh Allen, but I gotta go with my homie and his Chiefs for this one.
Smart man. I'm going with the Chiefs here, but I think this is going to be the most exciting game out of all of them.
Touche.
Who was the dude that got knocked out last year for the Bills? What was his name?
Yeah,
cardiac arrest guy.
Yeah,
Hamlin. He would win a ring because he's still on the team. Yeah, like he's
back. He's back this year. He's just not started.
Got you. I'm gonna go with the Bills, man. I think it's a storyline that will be good. So I'm gonna go with the Bills on this. Patty Mahomes about to fall short.
Storylines win in the media, not on the turf.
Oh, we shall see. We shall see
all day.
That was week 2, y'all. That's what we're predicting. We'll come back next week and talk about it and see where we sit. But it's looking like a good week in the NFL, y'all. Good week in the NFL. Next segment, we're talking 2x2. 2x2. Now it's time for our 2x2 segment. where we give the tips and advice to entrepreneurs and business owners. Today, we're going to continue on this theme of the sports and entertainment side of things. The question we're posing is, hey, can any league surpass the NFL from a business perspective, from a revenue perspective, from a viewership perspective? Can any league actually get past the NFL? Coach, start it off, and then Doogle, we'll throw it to you.
I think this is a very interesting question from an entrepreneurship perspective and from just a money marketing. You know, we always talk about the different components of a business. When I look at the NFL, I see that they've built a conglomerate, like a real machine here. And I think the only thing that can hurt the NFL is the NFL. If the NFL gets too greedy, which they've shown a propensity to, if they try to continue to increase, first we had, 15, 16, 17 games. I hear they're trying to add another one. If they continue to try to move players across the water, the pond, to have games in Germany and in England and etc. Sure, those are great and they're going to bring money in and they're going to grow the game. But I think the game of football in and of itself has a limit in terms of what the human body can endure. And I think the more they push that to try to get greedy, one, it's going to oversaturate the market, meaning that they have an event. They don't have just like a game. They have an event every week, right? It's like a Roman Coliseum event every week that everybody religiously tunes into. So in my opinion, the only thing that can hurt the NFL is the greed of the NFL governors.
It's a good take. Dougal, what are your thoughts on it, man?
So I think, yes, there's a possibility only because of the law of diminishing returns, right? You keep watching the same thing over and over and over again. It's the same teams year after year. Yes, there's different players, but I think the NBA has the potential of surpassing it eventually because there's so much talent there that comes in year after year, and they keep changing the rules to allow for higher scoring games, making it more entertaining to watch. So if there's anything out there that can surpass the NFL, I'll say the NBA is the closest right now. Don't know when it will happen, but I think it has the strongest possibility to make it happen. But that's just my take.
It's a big deal, Dougal, because it's funny because that's exactly what I thought, right? And Coach and I had the conversation briefly offline about this, and I said a combination of those two things, right? We don't know what happens from a cultural perspective. Like I said, if there's some tragedy in youth football, in college football, in something where it affects the next generation of football players, it's quite possible that this cathedral that is built, right, that the masses are like, maybe we need to stay away from this thing, right? Like maybe this isn't good, even though it's entertaining. Maybe this isn't what we want to support and put our dollars behind. We've seen things like that happen in many different businesses. This is just entrepreneurship. It's you understanding kind of what's the landscape of your demographic, or who your avatar is, so to speak, as a marketing term, right? So with a combination of that, and Dougal, you made a great point with the combination of the NBA going global, right? I know the NFL is trying to, but the NBA has like global superstars, right? And that's going to continue to grow. And if you can start getting viewership in other countries, I don't know how, deep people go into the developmental side of the NBA, but they got these junior NBA leagues all over the world. They have all these people buying in to their best players coming to the NBA and then going back to their country and becoming superstars. I really think from a global perspective, it's quite possible the NBA could push past the NFL. It might need a combination of those two things to happen, like some type of tragedy or falling off on one side, and then the growth of NBA. But I think it's a possibility. Again, don't know when. Maybe not in the near future. Maybe not in the next 5 years. But hey, the next decade potentially we could see some shifts, but not sure. just know from a business perspective, because again, that's why we talk about this on this 2x2. It's talking about the corporate athlete side or just understanding business in general. You have to pay attention. We all went to, if you did go to college or you went, to some type of business school, you talk about that SWOT analysis, right? Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. The opportunities and threats are external from you. So it's like what's happening out there. And then the strengths and weaknesses are internal. To Coach's point, NFL has a lot of strengths, right? They don't have a ton of weaknesses internally, but the external side, the opportunities that are out there in the global market, the threats of other rising stars, that could be something. Coach, you want to rebut on any of that stuff?
No, not necessarily, because it's your opinion. You have the opportunity to be incorrect. That is okay. And in fact, I believe it's Sonia here on Instagram actually agrees with a couple of the facts that you're putting out there. And I think
shout out to Sonia Ross.
Yeah, that's real interesting. Sonia, how much did he pay you? All right. With that said, guys, y'all know I'm playing. With that said, though, I think you guys make some good points. I think we shall see. When we speak about the market globally, I think the conversation does shift slightly, or maybe a great deal, actually. But when we're talking about the North American market, I think NFL, it's NFL's to lose, if you will. I think it's NFL to lose. You don't see basketball entrenched on a religious level the way football is. You just don't see that. And you don't see, we have Instagram here, soccer over football. Man, listen,
soccer could.
But that's
not
a different
MLS,
conversation.
unfortunately.
Yeah, not in America, right? That's why we got to segment. What are we talking about? We talking about North America? We talking globally? Globally, soccer already surpasses. That's not even a question. Right, but North America, no, not in my lifetime. My soccer is not surpassed, and I played soccer. That was my sport. All right, but ain't no way that's even getting close. I mean, not even Messi could elevate MSL. I mean, whatever.
MLS,
exactly.
The garbage they putting on television. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I think it's a good point, and let's move on.
Listen, that's awesome. Let's get another quick break from our sponsor. A little word from our sponsor here.
Wow. Of course, I, Coach, want to show you how over 600 people have reclaimed their childlike energy, increased their lean functional muscle mass, skyrocket their mental and physical performance in 10 days or less. And I want to show you how to achieve this without having to count calories, track macros, spend hours in the gym, and take lots of supplements. With my 10 years of experience as a coach, I've taken everything I've learned and created the Gut Right system, which will show you the simple process to reset your system for maximum health benefits. And because it's still early in 2024, I'm giving away this system for free as a gift to you. So click the link somewhere on here if you're watching on YouTube. And if you are on live right here on Instagram, TikTok, wherever else, go ahead and DM me the word vacation and I'll send it to you for free.
There we go. Hey, listen, 2024 is the year to make sure you're making these improvements, ladies and gentlemen. So take Coach up on those offers because you need it. We're into our next segment. Doogle is here. And again, he's a friend to the show, and he's going to be somebody you guys are going to see a lot more of this year. So we're going to check in with you, Doogle, and say, with this segment, what would Doogle do? That's the segment. Right now, we're talking to all the new fathers out there, and Doogle, Doogle being a new father, we're going to start asking a few questions, just how you would navigate some of this stuff, right? Again, we talk about corporate athletes. We talk about people that are pursuing their health goals, pursuing their wealth goals, taking care of their families, continuing to elevate in their careers. So we're just going to throw a question out at you, Doogle. Like, what are some landmines, some things that people should be looking out for, and maybe some tips on how to deal with them, right? The busy schedule, how do you actually put it all in place for someone that's out there listening, that's trying to juggle and balance all the stuff? What should people be looking out for? And maybe throw them one or two tips of exactly like what they should do or what you're doing?
Yeah, I think once children get involved into your already busy life with work, your health journey, so on and so forth, I think um landmines include your lack of routines. Those get blown to smithereens. Um and people always say the lack of sleep, but I think it's really so the lack of consistent sleep. You usually get 5 to 8 hours. You're getting interrupted throughout the night, and having to get up early. I think those are some of the main things. But as far as tips and tricks, honestly, I think it comes down to three things. I'm having a good partner,
Mm.
if possible. You never, there's single parents out there,
Yeah.
but having a good partner, a community, having people around you that will be able to help you. And this one is major for me, and it's something I'm practicing, and that is patience.
Mm.
Um, you have to be patient. Your kids are going to grow. Things are going to somewhat stable out at some point in time. And you got to be patient with yourself. You can't expect results to come right away or still happen while you're transitioning with all these things going on. So keep trying, keep putting in the effort. Results are only going to come through with effort. So remain consistent and remain patient, and things will happen. So
That's
that's all I got.
huge. That's huge, Dougal. And let me double click on one thing that you said, right? And maybe give me some insight on it. Like, how have you and your wife like communicated about the routines and the changes, right? Because if the first point is like, hey, having a supportive spouse or like, teamwork in the home or whatever the case is, are these conversations you're having frequently? Are these just like you guys kind of already know the flow and what they need? Like, how do you navigate that part?
It's a little bit of both. Sometimes the roles, depending on the situation, kind of just feel predetermined, but the conversations are constantly happening. Things come up in life, as you know, day by day. So it might be a thing like even tonight, for example, coming on the show, I had to enroll my wife, like, hey, you may have to watch both the kids for a little bit. But hey, afterwards, I got you though, you
Right.
know,
Right.
and it could be like a schedule you put together. Like one day I'll stay do the night shift. Tomorrow night you do the night shift. I got the dishes. We have to coordinate like that and schedule it out. But it is a constant conversation to be had for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know you're out on kind of leave right now. How does this affect the work side, right? Because again, talking to corporate athletes and people that are still trying to push and get to their goals, because again, goal oriented people, right? Like getting to that next level. How does this affect maybe your mindset in work or your again, your timing? Like, I don't know if you've touched on any of that stuff because you're just getting into leave, but like, how do you think that affects it?
Um. Honestly, once again, once you kind of have that conversation, like, hey, I'm going to be at work from XYZ at time, and I'm going to need help with the baby or whatever. Um, we kind of figure that out. And honestly, my productivity goes down just a tad bit
Mm.
here and there. But once again, having that patience comes back in and putting in that effort. I'm like, all right, I may have been productive today, but let me get up a little bit earlier tomorrow, put a little bit more time in, put a little bit more effort in, and then we go from there. But
That's
yeah,
huge.
it's just consistency and patience, man. That's all it is.
That's huge. Those are huge tips. Consistency and patience, ladies and gentlemen. It'll get you far. It'll get you far. All right.
That's right.
Let's dive into the rest of the show. The actual topic for today, we're diving into these health and wealth goals as we're halfway through, basically a little bit more than halfway, depending on when you're watching this. If you're joining us live, right, halfway through the month. And I know we set a lot of goals. We set a lot of health and wealth goals previously. So let's kind of go around the horn here and talk about what are some things that we're doing. Like what are you taking on in your health and wealth for 2024? Coach, go ahead and talk about some of the things that you're taking on this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Really interesting because I had this conversation with young Dougal not too long ago. So let's start on the health side of things.
Mhm.
For me, it's elevating to the next level in terms of more consistency, right? So what I've found with myself and obviously clients, folks that I work with as well, is throughout the year there's a lot of yo-yoing going on. right? There's a lot of like up and down, have a breakthrough for a month, and then you're right back, right? Have a whatever that in whatever area that is in the aspect of health. It's and usually what it is, it's like the same habits that are pulling people back, right? So and we kind of what we do is we kind of set up little justifications, right? We set up little, it's not that bad. And like, oh, well, since I'm, I know that's just something that is a weakness for me. So I'm gonna, kind of like baby and like the habit a little bit when we know darn well when we look ourselves in the mirror that this thing is actually slowing me down a lot more than I would like to admit that it is. So it's seeking permanence in a lot of these things, not going back and forth, but slowly implementing things and keeping them there. All right. So this is where a lot of people start to freak out, right? This is where you see like, oh my gosh, what do you mean? I can never do and fill in X, whatever X is for you, fill that in. I can never do blank again. Right. Oh gosh, that's crazy. But I always talk to people in terms of approaching these things, particularly on the health side. Honestly, like you would AA, right? Because sure, you could have a little heroin. That's fine. Right. And I always like to use what I would call, extreme examples, but we also know there's definitely folks that are struggling with things like that. Sure. Right. But what to me is heroin to you may be bread. For you, it may be alcohol. For you, it may be weed. For you, it may be soda pop. All right. If you're in the Midwest, for you, it may be something else. So it's in figuring out, like, first and foremost, what are these things for me? And it really doesn't take much figuring out if you're being honest, right? If I'm being honest with myself, it's not very hard to identify what those things are. And instead of trying to work around them, let's work through them. All right. So for me, it's elevating these things and getting into a place of permanence, a place where that is the normal, not breaking from it here and then going back, breaking and going back, but really having a state of like, this is just what I do now. All right. And treating it, quite honestly, in a very religious manner, right? Staying in community. All right. There's a reason why, and if I may use Christian analogy here again, there's a reason why Christians and other religious groups are encouraged to come into fellowship consistently. Why is that? Because when you are swimming against the current, when you are doing something that's not normal, when you are doing something that is against what is being taught out there, you need to be in fellowship with others that are doing it. Mm-hmm. You can go by yourself and you can deal with the things that you need to deal with in secrecy. However, most of the time, what I find is when I do that, it's because I don't want to be held accountable. Right? It's because I don't actually want to look people in the face and say, hey, I dropped this ball yet again. Right? But it is in doing that and going through that process that we actually are able to grow and mature, whether you're a Christian or whether you're just trying to live a healthier life. Right? Sure. And so it's putting these things in place so that it's synonymous. My professional life actually encourages my personal life, and my personal life encourages my professional life, right? It's lining these things up, all right, so that I can be held accountable, all right? Part of why I do this is because, in terms of coaches, because I, in of myself, need the things that I talk about. Right? If I sit here and tell you guys I have it all figured out, it's all good to go, that'll be a lie. Right? But it being in practice, So that is the overarching health goals. There's specific things that I'm taking on, but the overarching health goal is moving in the direction of consistency, right? And that is a and this is why coaching, particularly health coaching, is so tough. It's because it's a very deep and personal thing. It's a very, very deep and personal thing to be held accountable, right? Or to have to announce things that you feel like you failed at is a very tough thing to do. And I want you guys to know that I'm taking that on in my life personally, and creating the space for others to take that on professionally as well. Dr. Williams, good to see you on here on Instagram. I'm gonna shout it out. Hey guys, if you pop on Instagram, I'm gonna give you a little shout, particularly if we know each other. That's on the health side. On the wealth side, quite frankly, it's the very same thing. It's the exact same thing. Creating consistency, right? Not going yo-yoing back and forth, but consistency in the things that I know to be doing, right? And I have very specific wealth goals this year as well. One being growing the CTN Academy in terms of impacting more individuals, but also creating the space for people to self-explore, right? For people to explore themselves, to trip over themselves in a safe environment. And that's number one. And number two, it's in acquiring assets, right? Income producing assets. That's number two on the list. And both of those are going to require being consistent with certain habits, right? Certain things that I'm doing on a day-to-day basis to move forward. So that's where I am with that, guys.
That's awesome, man. Doogle, your take on it. What are you focused on this year on the health side and the wealth side of things?
All right, I'll keep mine real short. Thanks for sharing all that, Coach. A lot of that resonated with me. For my health goal this year, I'm actually taking on improving my vitality. I'm trying to be, as a parent now, I'm trying to be around for a long time. So that's my main goal, is what I have to put in place nutrition wise, movement wise, outside factors, work. I know Coach always talks about it, breathing and posture alignment and stuff. It's funny to talk about it, but those things are all very important. So those are the things I want to take on this year. Also trying to knock off a good 30 pounds off the body. See how that looks like. Call me one time for the one time. And uh and as far as wealth goes, I'm trying to knock down some debt, man. I'm trying to work towards my financial freedom. I want to get debt free. I achieved it once before, but life happens. So I'm working towards that again.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Those are great things, and again, very, very common for a lot of people that, especially on the wealth side of things, dealing with the debt. That's where we step in. For myself, funny, Coach, that you would talk about that type of stuff, because I think you said it better than how I would have said it, as far as the consistency side of things. But I'm right on the same line. I was thinking more just being mindful of it. Last year, I don't think I was always mindful of the multiple areas in my health that I wanted to improve, because there can be a bunch of things. If we've gone through this before with you, Dougal, and I, right, have gone through this, like where we have the scorecard, right, and we're checking off every day like what we're actually doing. Are we making sure we're getting our 20 minutes in the sun, right, or 20 minutes outside, or grounding, or right, hot cold showers, like whatever it is. It's something to keep us on track. Last year, like you said, with the yo-yoing, right, like kind of starting something, stopping something, it's very much so how it felt like in my health, right? It's just I'd start something and then I wouldn't be mindful of it 2 months later, right? It just wouldn't even cross my mind because life or whatever else pops up. And so this year was really about mindfulness in all the areas. And one of the things that I took on, that I started actually last year, was actually writing out a full plan, right? We call it the plan to energize and focus. But in this, it has all of what I'm trying to make happen in all the areas. So I start off with, the 10 reasons like why I'm doing any of this stuff. And a lot of that's around my family, right? Or my daughter, right? Like those types of things. It gets me some focus of like, okay, why am I even trying to improve? Why do I want to get to the good life, right? Like what am I even doing this for? Because we all know in life we have those days, we have those weeks where it's easy to be like, yeah, I don't want to do any of this stuff, right? So just a constant reminder and being mindful of like why you're doing it. I have a health plan in there, right? Top 10 things that I'm focused on. And a lot of those things are the same stuff that we talk about, right? Drinking good water, right? And keeping the body hydrated every single day, making sure I'm connecting, right, with by meditating and grounding, by again moving my body to stay agile. Like these are the things that I have written down. And that's really the big key, is because last year I didn't have them written down. So when life starts coming in right all different directions, it's easy to drift. It's easy to focus more on something else. So I actually put it all down in writing. I put the financial plan down in writing of what we're doing. I put the business plan down in writing. I put the personal goals down in writing. So I have like a 16-page, 17-page document basically that I've been reading every morning and every night for going on 2 months, a little bit over 2 months now. And that's keeping me focused, just making these things top of mind. Right. And the more that I keep it top of mind this year, the more that I will be consistent. Right. The more I will be able to say, okay, I'm focusing on these things because I'm constantly feeding it to myself. So on the health side, there's a bunch of the things, but it's all the stuff that we've talked about. A lot of the energy cash flow stuff that we've gone into, that you've gone into, on that side is big for me. And then on the financial side of things, really growing the business. Now, it's funny because in business, sure, there are some things I want to be consistent at, but at the end of the day, like I actually have more of a yo-yo style of my business. Like there are like periods of season where I'm doing all of the phone calls or a bunch of training or a bunch of sales calls or a bunch of marketing. And then I have seasons where I then kind of pick up the pieces and I say, okay, like I was going really hard at it. I couldn't focus on this. Now let me come back around and focus on this part of it. And that's actually, I think, is going to benefit my business because it's really difficult. All you entrepreneurs out there, it's hard to run a marathon like sprinting for the whole year. You know what I mean? Like when you're just sprinting the entire time, it's easy way to burn out, easy way to get to a place where you're like, I don't know if I can do this. So in business, I actually do need the breaks. I plan on right going hard for a quarter and then picking up the pieces for a quarter and then going hard for the third quarter, right? And then kind of coming back around. But either way, it's all in writing. And that's been the major shift for me this year. And what I'm focused on is like getting it down so I'm constantly reminded and keeping this stuff top of mind. So that's for all of us on the health and wealth side of things of what we're headed towards. Again, the reason why we share this with all you guys listening is because we're just trying to give you some insight on what we're working on. We might be closer to the fire, so to speak, right? We might be closer to, touching people on the wealth side or on the health side of things or as a corporate athlete. But these are the same tactics and same things that you can practice as well, right? And so these are the things that if we share with you, we know you'll pick it up. But here's something also that, I'll go back around the horn with this one, right? What are some of the reasons that we don't do this stuff? Like why do we normally get knocked off track? Like, Coach, I'm curious to hear like what you see and then also what you know about yourself as far as like why we don't normally hit our goals or why we get knocked off track in this stuff.
I think it's a number of reasons, but ultimately I think it boils down to, I hate to use the word, but I think it boils down to comfort. All right. There is no, in our current modern day society, we're not running away from tigers. We don't need to go hunt for our own food. Right. If sickness appears, it usually takes a pretty long time to kill us. Right. Usually it's not something acute. It's not something like all of a sudden, right? That's usually not the case. If somebody has a heart attack, or God forbid any of that stuff, it's usually not like, oh, out of nowhere,
Mhm.
right? It usually it's slow. So comfort in the sense of like, how do you cook a frog? Right? You don't crank up the heat to 10 right away. You go to 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and you lure them to sleep. You lure them to sleep. So, to your point, kudos to you first and foremost for writing it down. Kudos to getting your why and things in place that work for you. You said, like you need breaks. Everybody needs breaks and everything.
Sure.
The question is the intention. That's the key. That's the difference, right? If you fall off, you didn't intend. That was not the plan. The plan wasn't to have week 16, week 17, first game of the playoffs be the worst game that you've ever played. Shout out the Eagles. But it is, if you have periodic plans. Now, the way that things, we have, for example, things are set up in the academy is we train via seasons, winter, fall, spring, summer, etc. In between each season, there's a break, right? There's a period of time to regroup. All right. That's intentional. That's planned. That's ahead of time. That's coming up. All right. There's no pro athlete that's going to, not even LeBron, right? Right after the NBA playoffs is over, he takes a week with his family to whatever island he goes to. I will hold that joke for another time. And he regroups, but it's planned. And he comes back and he gets right to it. You see what I'm saying? I think that's the difference. If you're putting things in place to catch you, you're putting things in place to get you right. That's very big difference than like, I fell off, or I got too comfortable, or I overindulge, or whatever. But there's always forgiveness in the church, guys. There's always forgiveness in the church. And we come back, we regroup, and we go, and how we bounce back is actually the most important skill.
Yeah.
How we bounce back. All right. Then it's planning, right? Planning to do that. So that's what I'll say. For me, I know that's what it is.
Yeah.
I get to particularly in my health, even in wealth, right? Get to a point, it's like, I mean, things are good. There's no danger. Nothing is coming out of anywhere. Like everything is fine. What's the issue? All right. But these are the times when you stay lockstep. It's off season. I can go to X, Y, and whatever, right? But the difference between LeBron and J.R. Smith is you stay lockstep. You stay lockstep.
Why JR?
Right?
Why JR?
You know what I'm saying?
JR?
I don't know, man. You shout out J.R. Smith, man. We love you on the show, man. You're a friend of the show.
I got a quick follow-up question for you then, Coach.
No follow-up questions. Go ahead, bro.
So do you think then people are constantly chasing that level of comfort then, hence the yo-yoing? Like you get to a point, you refocus, get to another point, get comfortable. It's like, are we chasing comfort is what it sounds like to me.
I don't really think people are chasing comfort. I think they seek to comfort. I don't think people are chasing comfort. I think people are chasing feel good, if you will, right? And they sink to the level of comfort, right? The Marines say when things get hard, you don't rise to anything. You fall to the level of your training. All right. So yeah, I think all of life is if you will, sound wave. It goes up and down. But what are the Native Americans or ancient wisdom tells us? Like, if times are hard now, just wait, because all things should come to pass. So, yeah, I don't think it's a chasing of it, and I don't even think it's necessarily a bad thing. It's the intention behind it that makes the difference, right? It's the intention behind it. It is, I intend to do this, and I'm going to do it. See, one thing I realized, or I've learned over time, is we gain power when our intention matches our action. We actually, if you think of a video game before, we actually strengthen in power, right? That not anything else. Like you say X and you do X, you become more powerful. Literally, right? Again, guy, I hate to be dropping the religious pieces on you guys here, but I am a son of a pastor, so it is what it is. All right, but in the beginning, all right, that was. Go ahead, fill it in. Come on, somebody fill in for
In the
me.
beginning, there was the word.
The word, right? It is
Okay,
the it is the alignment with the word,
Yeah.
right? Not somebody else's word, but my word. What I give to myself, because there's words that I'm giving to myself and nobody else is going to hear, right? I'm going to do this, and I do it. When you say I'm going to do X and you do it, how do you feel? You're
accomplished.
powerful.
Yeah.
You're
Build
Integrity,
powerful.
huh?
build
Integrity.
confidence. You build
Right.
confidence.
And I think that's, for me personally, that's kind of what I'm working towards, is that alignment with my word that I give myself, because I feel more powerful whenever I do that. Whenever I do that, right? And it's I heard somebody else say this. He's like, that's the reason why I never lie. Guys, I lie sometimes, I'm gonna be honest with you. But
word.
working towards that, right? That alignment, working towards that. All right. It's all it's empowered. Like I can literally see myself visually, right? When I give a word and don't fulfill in the word and don't restore, because again, there's forgiveness in the church, right? I feel smaller. I literally feel smaller. I feel less powerful. But when I do, or when I either do what I say I'm going to do, or I restore that piece, I actually feel more empowered in my life.
That's huge. That's huge. Said another way, I've heard it this way, that keeping the promises we make to ourselves builds confidence. When we don't keep the promises we make to ourselves, right, it destroys our confidence. That's what happens. If you tell yourself, hey, I'm going to do this, and over time you just keep not doing it, you're going to feel, right, less confident, less empowered moving forward. But if every time you say, like, hey, I said I was going to do it and I did it, you build that power, you build the confidence in yourself. So that's, again, spot on. Dougal, I think you're touching on a real big point, and with that question of comfort, from a financial side, right? If I give you kind of what I hear and what I see a lot of times for people that are in the process of trying to build wealth or get to a place where they want to improve their financial life. Let's say that the word that often comes out of their mouth the most is, I just want to be comfortable. That's actually like kind of what people say a lot when it comes to money, especially if they don't have clear cut goals of where they want to go. They're like, man, I just want to be comfortable. I just want money to not be an issue. I just want, like, they really do. I don't know if, it's just the words of like seeking comfort, or right, like sinking to comfort. But like at the end of the day, like people are really looking to get to a place of comfort. I heard Ed Milet say this one time, that he talks about it like a thermostat, right? Like we all have a thermostat of our life. And so if our life cools down, we're not in a good place. We're not in a good place in our health. We've been eating bad, right? Like all the stuff, we're not keeping the promises. We find a way to heat our lives back up to whatever our thermostat needs to be at. If we're used to being at 70 degrees and then our life temperature drops down to 65, we're like, man, I need to turn this thing up. I don't feel good. This doesn't make, but we only get it back to 70, to where it's set. Same thing happens too. If life gets really good, if you start making more than you've made in your life, if your health gets to the next level and you haven't turned up that thermostat, like you'll cool your life right back down to where you were for that comfort. Right. And so it happens on both sides. Ed Milet talks about us, right, just continuing to, raise our identity. So our thermostat raises. So if you want to live life at 75 degrees, but you're at 70, you have to believe that you're a 75 degreeer. and then do the actions necessary to get there, and your life will stay there. But if subconsciously you still believe you're a 70 degreeer, even if you do hit that 75, you'll always slide back down. So a lot of mindset stuff in this. A lot of mindsets.
All mindset, man. All mindset. Two things. First and foremost, I like to reference people to cybernetics, right? The book, I believe it's cybernetics. All right. Talks about their belief system, right? It's huge. And that's essentially the concept that you just explained to the audience here. And then all of what you just said also applies inside of health. I just want to be healthy. I just want to I just want to feel okay. I just want to be a decent weight, right? Those are the words of two people. Someone who's afraid. They're scared, right? Or they have doubt. They don't see themselves as somebody who can completely just break the mold. Oh, I'm almost 40. I have kids. I have a job. It's really stressful. I just want to be like, feel okay, right? I don't need to run like a marathon. I don't need to like, that's not the thing, right? I don't need all that stuff, right? That's fine. Nobody's saying you should. But the thing is, if you don't aim high enough, right, in terms of your health, specifically, guys, is what I'm talking about here. And this is one of the things that I incorporate into my health goal this year, is to break my mold, break my previous mold, right? Because if you're not shooting for Olympic level health, right, and all you're shooting for is just a little better, or you don't leave much room. There's not much room. I'm okay. I'm a dad. I just want to maintain, right? That's one of the worst things, right? The worst. I just want to maintain.
If you're not growing, you're dying. If you're not growing,
fear and doubt. That's what's speaking. Fear and doubt is what is speaking, not you, right? Because if you could push a button and have Olympic level health, would you do it? Oh,
nah.
Right?
Nah.
All right, don't listen to this guy. Right? Would you do it if all it took was pushing a button, but you have doubt on whether or not you can do what it takes to get there? You have fear on whether or not you're going to fall on your face. All right, I have that. All right, as well. That's why I can speak with such confidence.
We all do. We all do to a degree. Again, that's why we do the podcast, right? Health and wealth stuff. The stuff we talk about is interchangeable. People that say, yeah, I don't need to make that much. Like, I don't need to be rich. I don't need a lot. But if you play that lottery and hit that 28 billion or whatever,
right,
you wouldn't give it back. You wouldn't give it back, right? It's just you
Think
don't
for yourself, man. Who needs it? It's just green paper.
Listen, I'm saying like both of these two sides, right? Again, that's why we talk about it, because people say and do and act in similar ways around these two main parts of our life that we are, pushing forward, that really can get us to the good life, is our health and our wealth. And we're saying and thinking similar things. So we got to help you unlearn and relearn some new ways. We're doing that all 2024. If you guys stick with us and rock with us here on The Good Life. So let's take another quick word from our sponsor before we wrap it up.
Let us do it. Are you ready to level up your style? The Good Life Visual Audio Podcast Store just dropped its first piece of merch with an exclusive Follow the Money t-shirt. It's not just clothing. It's a statement of your commitment to mastering your health and your wealth. So be part of the movement and get yours today. Just visit the Good Life Visual Audio Podcast using the link in our bio on Instagram. Elsewhere, you'll find it in the description as well. And remember to always follow the money. Guys, let's go with Chris first, then Doogle, then myself. But time for your last take. Chris.
Last take. Fly, Eagles, fly. I'm joking. Listen, we gotta shout out the
Couldn't say
Eagles.
that with a with a straight face.
It was tough.
Couldn't say that with a straight face.
It was
You know
tough,
what I'm saying?
but again, I got
behind that laughter is a single tear dropped down his face.
So we begin,
There
so we
is.
must end, huh?
There it is. But I got 215 tatted on me, so I got to make sure we shout out those birds, right? But
always get it removed now.
Never. Blasphemy.
Why is my sister still on here spewing hate?
Because she's a part of the team. And Nick. That's right. Let's go.
Y'all need to stop. Y'all need. Man, listen.
Gang.
I thought she was gone, man. Listen.
It's bird gang for life. It's bird
gang.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyways.
That's the sound of your bird dying.
Anyways, guys, 2024, my last take on what is happening and how we're moving forward in our health and our wealth is, again, just mindfulness, being more, again, I like what Coach said, being consistent in what we're doing, but really just being more mindful about the areas that we want to progress. And I believe if we're more mindful about things, we write things down, we read them back to ourselves, we have accountability. Again, community is so important. Common unity, right? Common unity with people. I really believe that that's the way we really get to all of our financial and health goals in 2024. So that's my last take.
All right. So just piggybacking off Chris here, consistency, yes. And just to put things into perspective, sometimes we're trying to do a lot, right? We have so much things going on. So being mindful, slow things down. Sometimes less is actually more. I think that's why the saying exists. So slow down, take things in stride, and remember, be patient, put in the work in, results are going to come.
That's it. I love it. I love it. Thank you guys both for bringing it home. You know, there's a lot of truth in a lot of these sayings as we get older. I will introduce one more to the lexicon, guys. Be more like the lion and less like the bird.
Wow.
Guys, we appreciate you for joining us this time. See you next week as we bring on more winners and less losers. Thank you for your time this time. And until next time, peace.
Next week.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Good Life.
If you enjoy this episode, please take a moment to subscribe and like our channel.
If you have any feedback or suggestions for future episodes, please leave us a comment down below.
If you're listening to the podcast audio version, we appreciate you just as much. Thank you for tuning into The Good Life Show.
We believe that everyone has the potential to live their best life, and we hope our show helps you get that one step closer to achieving your goal.
If you know someone who would benefit from our show, please share it with them, and thank you for your continued support.
That's it for another week's episode here on The Good Life. We'll see you next week for another inspiring conversation.